So Andy Farrell was your first favourite player, wasn't he? I remember you saying.
Yeah, Andy Farrell was first few years. I could say them all if you want.
Yeah.
Do you want to do them chronologically or working backwards?
Because everyone has one, don't they?
Chronologically, my favourite player when I first started watching was Andy Farrell. And then when he left, it was probably Lockers for a long time, Sean O'Loughlin.
Yeah.
Like when Maguire came in 2010, it would have been... I like Cameron Phelps, but it would have been Amos Roberts. Famous Amos, you know. We spoke about Amos 2 weeks ago, didn't we?
You know, one man of steel.
Yeah, he was a one man of steel. Then probably George Carmont for a couple of years. Like, you remember that World Club Challenge game that we ended up losing, where George Carmont against Dragons?
Yes.
He scored twice. He was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Then it would have been Sam. Before he left and after he left. After he came back. And then in between them, when we didn't have Sam, it would have been Matty Bowen. I think I've got a thing for fullbacks here.
They're so exciting, aren't they?
Yeah, fullbacks are exciting. Because then after that, it would have been... Well, once Sam left the second time, probably George for a year. And then it's been Bevan ever since he signed, really, because we...
Signed back end of 19, didn't he?
Yeah, and we were in Parramatta when he signed, and I've told the story before to... I think I've told it on the podcast. I've told it to many people. I told the story to Bevan French when I met him. But we were in Parramatta when he signed and watched his last game for the Eels reserves. And everyone around Parramatta was saying, he got a really exciting player. And we thought, that'd be great, I'll get a couple of years out of him, he'll come back to the NRL. Now it looks like he might be staying for 9.
Well, yeah, that's been the weird thing, isn't it, with Bevan? He's not good enough to play over here. They're letting him go. He's the only reserve player, and then once he'd signed and started, he's only here until he gets a job back at NRL.
It was like, he's here because he's fallen out with Brad Arthur, or he's here because he doesn't want to play on the wing, or whatever. We played for quite a while on the wing for us, so I don't know how true that really was.
Yeah.
Shall we get into it?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Cue the Fallen Frank.
Hi, I'm Tom.
I'm Matty.
And I'm Lewis.
This is the Wigan Way, Wigan's favourite rugby league podcast.
He'll put you in his trap 'cause he's a union man. He's got it all figured out. He won't care what you think 'cause he's a northern man. He's allowed to speak his
The Wigan Way podcast is brought to you by Cherry and White Pins, a local Wigan Warriors themed pin badge company with a variety of Wigan ranges. You can get free shipping on all orders when you use the code THEWIGANWAY, that's The Wigan Way, all in capitals, at checkout. Thanks to them for supporting the show.
So, thank you for tuning in again on the Wigan Way. This week, we're here after a second loss, back-to-back losses. Been a while since that's happened, but before we dive into the dark and dirty side of that loss, we're missing Lewis and Alex. Alex was on last week. They're both away. Matty, you've come off the interchange bench. You had a quick spell off and you've been subbed back on.
Yeah.
How you doing, mate?
Good, yeah, really good. Had a nice few days away in the lakes, and obviously missed the recording last week. Didn't miss any games, but missed the recording last week. I quite liked listening to Alex. Different perspective, from a St Helens supporter, and he didn't give that away at the beginning, but I'm glad he did eventually to talk about St Helens. So yeah, different perspective. I really enjoyed his insights, and we'll hopefully have him on again soon. But yeah, pleased to be back. I wonder if I only missed one podcast, so I wonder if that class is like a HIA reversed, and I'm back in.
I think you just come off 5 minutes either side of half time.
Yeah, that might be right. Yeah, just give me a bit of a breather.
Yeah,
because I'm playing through the middle.
Yeah, you're not an 80-minute player.
No.
So, like I said, back-to-back losses puts us third in the table on points difference. Yes, it's not great, but I do want to throw a caveat into that of we've still got a game in hand. We're still World Club champions. Challenge Cup champs, prime position in the league, with that game in hand. And I think if you're being honest with yourselves, and any Wigan fan in this position, if I said to you at the start of the season, listen, you'll lose 4 games in the league, you'll be joint top, apart from points difference, you'll have won the 2 tournaments, the 2 trophies that you could have won. I think you'd have snatched your hands off of that at the start of the season.
Yeah, you definitely would. I mean, I would have 2 months ago, just before the cup, I would have snatched your hand off like that. It's disappointing, and obviously we're going to talk about disappointments, and we weren't great on Friday. We're not going to sugarcoat that. We're not going to pretend we were. Warrington were excellent. You've got to admit that Warrington were excellent, and it went right for them. They're a good team. Are they a champion team? Remains to be seen, but they're a good team, and everything seemed to go right for them then, which we will talk about more. It's our first home defeat in 18 games. We won 17, I think. And it was actually Leeds Rhinos at home. Last
2022, wasn't it?
No, it was
the start of the season.
It was at the start of the season last year. And I was thinking back to that game, and there's so many parallels. I think it was an early summer, maybe end of May, start of June, and the first half was in daylight and the second half was in the darkness. And obviously that was a bit different, but they had a man sent off, and we were winning, we were controlling the game, and we threw 3 interception tries. And I remember, clear as day, Lewis sending a voice note that said, "We've just lost to Leeds with 3 intercept tries and a short ball from Tom Holroyd crashing over." Now, this game, we lost to Warrington. They scored 40 points with 2 intercept tries and a short ball with Adam Holroyd crossing over. And I thought, there's so many similarities between these 2 games. Both the teams finished with 12 men, and they both, deserved the win. They both put 40 points on us, and they both deserved the win. I can't argue with that. It hurts more because we lost last week against Hull. It hurts more, I'll be honest, because we lost back-to-back games.
They've now gone top.
Because now they've gone top, yes, exactly, and because Hull KR have gone past us as well. I'm not pushing the panic button, though.
No.
Not even close to pushing the panic button.
You have to remember that it was last year that we lost to Wakefield and then lost to Saints and then lost Catalan at Magic.
It was Catalan Saints, then we won one, then we lost to Wakefield. We won away at Hull KR, Golden Point.
Yes.
That stopped, and if we'd lost that, we'd have lost 5 in a row. Because we lost 2, Golden Point win, lost 2. And then we lost in the Cup, and then it was 13 wins in a row.
So it was a similar time, similar sort of situation. And I remember a lot of people pressing the panic button then.
Oh, yeah.
And walking off that ground at Wakefield, if you'd have said that we'd have gone 13 undefeated, won X, Y, and Z, I'd have told you. I would have said that you were dreaming, because that felt really low, that loss.
Yeah, but you just got to understand that these games now, they're like one-offs, but really, they don't have to have an impact on the end of the season. Sometimes they do. And look, if we lose the next 3, or we win one and then lose 3, clearly they will have an impact on our finishing position. But they don't have to. We can arrest it and we can win 2 more games in all. If we've got 3 games coming up in the next 2 weeks, we win all them 3, we'll be back top. I saw somebody tweet that first versus second should be the biggest game in any competition. Regular season.
Yeah.
And actually, 6th versus 7th feels like it should be the biggest game in Super League right now, because it's all about getting into the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I disagree slightly with that, because both of us actually have said in the past how important it is to finish in the top 2.
That
and how much we want to finish in the top 2 and get the home fixture and never have to play away until the grand final. So I'm not necessarily agreeing with that 100%, but I do think that first versus second in the middle of July, look, if you win it, fantastic, brilliant, well done for you, you've won it. you go and take that momentum. But I don't think it's quite the success that it's being touted as, and I don't think it's quite the failure for Wigan that it's being touted as. It might mean nothing.
No. It's weird. Before the game, I got the feeling that it meant more to Warrington. This game. Don't get me wrong. I think Wigan had to win that game.
Wigan put pressure on themselves by losing away at Hull.
Yeah.
But Warrington have not, until this week, beaten Matty Peters as coach. So they had to win more.
And after losing the Challenge Cup, I feel like Warrington knew that this was their time to show up and put a big performance in. And they did that. Maybe Wigan didn't have that extra motivation. I don't know what you want to add to that. But there was that feeling that underpinned the game that this was Warrington's biggest game of the season so far. And we were maybe feeling a little bit sorry for ourselves. Injuries, a couple of things added up, fatigue. And we thought we could just get through it.
I don't know. I think that's possibly how we thought about last week's game against Hull. I do think there was clearly motivation there. The players were clearly up for it. I mean, you just look at the play of somebody like Ethan Havard, who put in a brilliant performance.
Was phenomenal.
A packed leader already. And was throwing himself into challenges and was launching forward with the ball. I think you put yourself on the back foot when you drop the kickoff, or you drop the ball on the first drive of the kickoff, give the team a set on your line, and then of course giving them two intercepts. Giving them two intercepts is just criminal.
Yeah, it's really tough. You put a tweet out, Matty, saying obviously it's okay to be disappointed in the results and disappointed in the performances, but let's not go and bag two young lads. So Zach Eckersley, who's a centre, playing at full back. I know he's trained there a bit. Jack Farrimond, who is in the halves, one of your key positions. They made a couple of bad choices. I think Farrimond's the Matty Ashton intercept. If Farrimond would have his look over 10 times, 9 times he made the right choice and hit Farrell for a short ball.
And it's less that they attacked him in defence. But they're 18, 19. They're going to learn. And this is the only way they will learn. And they'll be better off for it. And if we play Warrington again down the road and one of our stars isn't available, I'd be more happy throwing in a Zach Eckersley or a Jack Farrimond than I would have been before this game, which sounds weird because they've obviously now failed.
They've had that poor game.
But that might be a good thing,
next time Farrimond's going to be in, next time he's in that situation, he's going to be thinking, I'm 3-on-1.
How many times last year did we talk about French and Field not throwing that face ball because it was going to get intercepted? They don't do it anymore. Touch wood. It was like, for a time, it was like, who are we playing against? Wakefield? Oh no, they've got Lee Kershaw. We're bound to serve one to him.
Definitely.
And we kind of cut that out of our game, and these two lads will do the same. Eckersley and Farrimond will do the same, I'm sure of it.
But you'll learn through mistakes. Want to mention Liam Marshall's try.
Yeah.
It was a brilliant piece of play from Harry Smith. I liked it. I did panic at the time. I think it was only the third tackle.
Well, Williams gets called offside.
Yeah.
Ref calls Williams offside. And so Smith has just a free shot to do whatever he wants.
Marshall, really good take, the ball coming over his shoulder and scores in the corner, makes it 6 points to 4.
Yeah, 6-4 at that point.
A couple of things to mention with this game. Adam Kieran has obviously missed out.
Yeah.
Didn't feel a HIA last week, but was suffering with a couple of headaches during the week, and they left him out precautionary.
Yeah. He said it was right at the end of the Hull match. Right at the end of the Hull match that he suffered this injury and he had been having some headaches or some dizzy spells or something through the week. I'm 100% fine with this. There would have been times, maybe even 5 years ago, but definitely 10 years ago, where he would have been told to get on with it and play. Yeah. But I'm fine with this, yeah. I'm glad they didn't force him into it, and hopefully he'll be back this week against Huddersfield. He's in the squad.
So hopefully
he'll be back against Huddersfield. He's an underrated player, I think, Aaron Kieran. He's come on loads.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I was disappointed in him the other week at Hull.
Yes.
I thought he was poor defensively.
Yeah.
I was always sceptical of his defence last season going into
I am
this.
the same.
But you know what? I was so about Toby King early on in the season.
Yeah.
And he improved at the back
Even
end
in
of
the
the
middle of the season. He got dropped, remember, for the St Helens game for his
Yeah.
defence at Magic Weekend.
And that was when we made the switch of Field and French, wasn't it? Remember?
Yes.
After that.
Yes, after those two games.
So, I think he'll come back stronger from it. And it
Hopefully
just
he
shows.
does,
But obviously that affects Wigan. A couple of the players, I think a little bit of fatigue.
I don't really know.
I was watching and a couple of the young lads, obviously like Junior, he's 19, 20. Now played the best part of 15 games back to back to back.
Well, I had a look yesterday, actually, and he missed the start of the season with injury. He came back for London away,
Yeah.
and then he missed one. And then when Willie Isa got injured at Cass, Junior came in and has played every single game apart from one, which was actually Cass away after the final when he was 18th man and Walters played. And we were really impressed with Walters that day. It might be time for him to have another week off. One of these games, we're going to play 3 games in what, 10 days?
10 days, yeah.
Or
Thursday, Tuesday, Saturday.
So that's 9 games. So 3 matches in 9 days. He'll not play all 3 of them.
No.
How many people do you think will play all 3 of them? I think some will have to.
Jake Wardle will.
Some of them will have to.
I think Marshall will.
Yeah.
Kieran, depending on how his thing is. I don't think... Obviously, Jar Field's named in the Thursday for the Huddersfield game. I know we're jumping a little bit ahead here. My worry is obviously Cruz Lehman. He's in the coming back off an injury.
Yeah.
And potentially...
He's been out for a while, hasn't he, Liam?
Been out for a while.
It was the London home game. That's probably about a month ago.
And he said it was going to be 8 weeks at one point. So I'm worried about how they'll manage him through this, and I think they'll have to dip into the reserves. Obviously, the Brad O'Neill news has broke that it's a serious knee injury. 9
months at least.
Yeah.
For those kind of ACL injuries. Tom Forber is not going to be fit until Magic Weekend at the earliest.
So that's 3-4 weeks.
Yeah. Games. Yeah.
So 3-4 games.
3-4 matches with that midweeker.
So there's going to be a few players that have to get managed through that spell. I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe someone like a Kieran or a Farrimond used at 9 to help Lehman out in these games.
Well, I tell you what, why don't we come back to this at the end of the episode and we do a lineup that we would be comfortable putting out for the Huddersfield game?
Yeah.
And why don't we focus for now on the second half of the Warrington match?
Yeah. Well, second half, obviously the interception try puts it to, was it 18 points to 4?
Yeah.
At half time. This is one of the first games, I would say, in my opinion, that we haven't started each half well. We conceded points early in each half. We conceded the first half within 3 minutes off Aaron Lindop.
It was Lindop again.
Dufty put a kick in and Lindop dove on it, and it was soft, it was weak.
Lindop was again the scorer. From a missed tackle from Abbas Miski.
Abbas Miski, misses the tackle, it bounces off, and then just puts his foot down. But it was very, very soft. It was a very un-Wigan try to concede.
It was. I do like that Lindop though. I thought he was good.
I thought he was very good.
I don't want to just be negative because, you know, we're not just here to talk about Wigan. We are the Wigan Way, but we're not just here to talk about Wigan. I thought Lindop was excellent. He deserved his try.
I don't think we dealt with Roderick Ty very well.
No, we didn't. You're right. We didn't. Which we did at Wembley.
Yes. Yeah, we dealt with their outside
big difference was at Wembley. We dealt with Ashton and we dealt with Roderick Ty.
Dealt with Toby King that day.
And this time we didn't have any Toby King to deal with this time, but we still had Thewlis and we had Ty and we had Ashton. And
I just think, even in this game, I don't think we were bullied around the field. I don't think... Normally you would think 40 points to 4. You conceding possession, territory. You camped on your own line.
I don't necessarily think they charged up and down the field at will. I think they were just really clinical. Whenever they got a chance, their hands were good and our defence was not. And a lot of the time it was coming down Warrington's left, which is quite potent, especially when that's where Williams usually plays. And our right edge defence without Kieran and without French and without Isa is obviously going to be weakened because those three are all excellent defenders. Particularly French and Isa.
The point I was trying to get is we still made meters. We still got into attacking positions. Just every time we got into the danger zone, the attacking areas, we coughed the ball up too easy.
We coughed the ball too easily all over the park.
We completed it, was it 67%, I saw?
Yeah, something like that.
Now, if you complete it 67%, you don't deserve to win any game.
You deserve to lose 40 points to 4, let's be honest.
You don't deserve to win any.
But they were good. They were good value for that. They were clinical.
Yeah.
And I don't want to take away from them because they were really good and they were red hot. And it worked for them and everything went for them. And, okay, it's July. You got to take them seriously.
Got to take them seriously.
You got to take them seriously. Are they our biggest threat to the title? Probably yes. Would you still make us slight favourites? Probably yes. If I'm being honest, I'd still make us favourites for the title. O'Neill missing is enormous for us because he's going to be missing the final, he's going to be missing the playoffs. But I would say Warrington are the biggest threats to that.
No, I'm obviously not a bookmaker, but if I was, I'd still have Wigan slight favourites.
Yeah, the price would have shortened, not because of the loss of the match.
I've been more confidence in Warrington.
But because, well, maybe a bit more confidence in Warrington, but I think more because Warrington still haven't shown us they can do it in a big match that means something. More the O'Neill thing.
Yeah,
the O'Neill thing would have probably made it a bit closer for me more than anything because he's such a strong defender, and because he makes the middle of our defence almost impenetrable. You know, he really makes us strong through the middle there. So someone's got to pick up that slack there in the middle of the park. Maybe we'll have to see 80-minute Ellis come back and do the full game every week.
Yeah, I think someone, maybe a Thompson, maybe a Havard, each week one of them's going to be tasked with doing 80 minutes. Not for the ball carrying, but for that defensive side of it.
And maybe we carry an Eckersley on the bench, just so Kieran can then cover halves and 9. Yeah. Eckersley can cover 1 to 5. But then if it is going that way and we need a bit of a spark and we need to change something, then we can at least. We don't have 4 plodders on the bench, 4 big forwards.
So that's going to be the big thing. Obviously, O'Neill being out suggests that Lehman will start. That gives you the room on the bench. I would expect someone like an Eckersley to be out there, or maybe even a player like Tiaki Chan, who seems to come with a lot of energy. Someone a little bit different on that bench.
Cover all the back row.
And that would allow someone like Farrell to play centre.
Perhaps. Or Farrell could go into the middle of the park then. Yeah. There's been a bit of criticism for Sam Walters. I think we're expecting a lot of Sam Walters, or certainly the Wigan supporters expected a lot of Sam Walters when he signed. We thought he was great at Cass in his first proper match because he only did 10-15 minutes off the bench at Hull KR. Coming back from a real tough injury, what do you make of Sam Walters?
I think it's really tough.
Wigan career so far.
I think it's really tough to judge him. He's 23. He's had 2-3 seasons at Leeds prior to this where he'd started to make a name for himself, but he still wasn't a starter at Leeds.
No.
He was off the bench,
usually
playing second row,
usually prop,
then playing prop. Yeah. So he's had that to contend with. He was always behind Reece Martin, James Bentley, and I think who else they've had there?
James McDonald.
So he's had that. And then he came on as an impact, probably come on just after half time and have an aggressive 30 minutes, or play the odd 60-70 minutes.
That might be his best role,
It might be. But what I'm trying to get at is then suddenly you move to Wigan, you're behind Willie Isa
and Farrell.
Liam Farrell, and potentially June and December if you look at the numbers. If you look at the joint numbers, 21 and 22. But that is what it is. You have a good off-season, you've moved, you've done all that stuff, have a good off-season. First game of your season, you break your collarbone, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's a shocker of an injury to get because you can't do anything about it. You can't play through the pain, you can't...
No.
You can't do a little bit of handling because you can't move that part of your body. So then you do 10, 12 weeks and watch your team that you've just signed for win the Challenge Cup, win the World Club Challenge.
Well, that's the interesting thing is obviously he missed 3 months with that. And he came back in the Cup semi-final and then was suspended for a week, then played in the Warrington away game and played well. Then he was 18th man for the Cup final, which I get why. He was going with the squad that had gone there, I get that, and the one that was in form. And then he was impressive the following week at Cass. And it feels like his season's not really got going. But when you think about it, he made his debut in the Cup semi-final, which is quite a while ago now. Like the final was June the 8th.
4 or 5 games.
Yeah. But
I bet you in that he's not played 380 minutes worth of... He's not played 240 minutes.
I don't know. He might have played 80 minutes the week before the Cup final. It feels like his season's not really got going.
Yeah. And sometimes you need players like that in your squad that are still starting and trying to kick on to come later on in the season. And if Sam Walters goes on to have a big 2 months here in the last... Well, it's round 20 next week, so the next 10 weeks of fixtures.
Yeah.
And he has a stormer. Everyone will forget this.
Yeah.
It's a weird one. I'd love to see what the plan was with him beforehand and the plan now, because obviously, recently, he's been coming off the bench replacing December. Then he was coming on the left-hand side replacing Farrell while Farrell was in at 9. Then...
Farrell was at centre.
Farrell was at centre and he was playing left side. Then he went to left centre during this Warrington game, while Jake Wardle moved to the right-hand side for the injury to O'Neill.
Yeah, you can't forget, really, the end of this game, we had Liam Farrell at 9, we had Sam Walters at left centre, we had Jake Wardle at right centre, we had Farrimond at 6.
Luke Thompson at second row.
We had Eckersley at fullback.
There's some big changes.
It's wild. And that's not even forgetting the fact that Isa was the best right side second row
defensive
at the start of the season for us.
And just throw into that as well when we talk about Sam Walters, he's also coming not only when he's trying to bed in, he's got other players bedding in alongside him. So he started off the season, I think he played 1 game with French on his inside. And the plan would have been, if he's looking at playing right side, was to be working with Bevan French. French went to full back, he was then dealing with Hampshire being his inside man. Then it was Farrimond. And they all provide different styles, confidence, the way they play. You have to defend with them differently.
And now he's on the left.
And now he's on the left with Harry Smith. The game's going the opposite way. Then you've not got Jake Wardle outside you. You've got to go towards the wing. And I think it's really tough on a young lad. And listen, he's paid to do it.
Yeah.
He's got to deal with it. He's got to overcome it.
I like him off the bench at the minute. I think Nsimba and Farrell start the game, provided everybody's ready.
But I think before we can judge him, he's got to get
to the end of the season.
He's got to get 2-3 games in the same position, in the same setup.
Maybe.
Whether that is, we might. I don't know. I'm trying to think of something. Let's say they rest in December for 2 weeks, and he has to play this Huddersfield and League game in the right second row. There's his chance to bed in.
There's his chance to prove himself. Yeah, I suppose.
I just don't think you can keep judging him whilst that chopping and changing. Not only him, but the people around him goes on, and it just because they'll say it doesn't affect you, and we've done the training, and someone's jumped in and done whatever. But suddenly, just having a different face there, a different threat, teams defend you differently. Maybe with French, he gets more one-on-one tackles. With Jack Farrimond, young lad making his debut, they can put enough pressure on him that you don't get them one-on-one chances the same. So it all links in together.
Yeah, and that's why last year when Toby King was the fall guy, we were not particularly blaming Toby King. It's a team game. And when you see teams get cut open on one side or the other, it's usually everybody's fault.
Yeah.
Usually, no one covers himself in glory and one person looks really bad.
Last year we talked about magic.
Inside pressure.
Piers Paul was poor that day.
But even then, even further inside than that, there was not enough inside pressure.
But it all fell on Toby King.
And it's also, Lewis mentioned it last week, you can concede a try from a kick. Or you can concede a crazy offload and a scramble. But anyone can concede them. You've got to keep them away from your line to minimise the chance that you concede that.
Yeah.
And then don't concede from long range. Because we don't tend to concede from long range, and that's the thing. That's what we've got to do. We've got to make sure that from long range the other team doesn't score, and we've got to make sure we don't gift them possession by dropping the ball inside our own 20.
Did that too much. That's the simplistic thing.
Just real simple. That's what we've got to do. And I'm sure we will. I'm sure we'll turn around.
Right. Big week ahead then. Well, big couple of weeks we say.
Yeah, 2 big weeks.
We will do an episode, just to point out, after the league game. Obviously, we'll do one on the Monday, following the Huddersfield and the rest of the Super League.
Yeah.
And then we'll do a quick episode to talk about the league game.
Yeah.
Prior to the following weekend of Rugby League. So thank you for listening, and we'll be back after this break to talk about the rest of the Super League.
Okay, so before we do Eyecatchers this week, as always, shot of the week. This week's shot of the week I've picked, it's come from the game between Oldham and Rochdale Hornets, and it's a kick up to the winger, to the corner, and it's caught by Rochdale's number 27, the winger, who's got the double barrel name. What's his name?
Joseph Coop Franklin.
So Joseph Cooper Franklin has caught it, and at the second he's caught it, he's been absolutely smashed by Kieran Dixon.
Oh, is he still? Is he over at Rochdale now? I didn't know.
No, he's at Oldham.
Oh,
So Oldham is the one attacking there, putting the kick in. And Kieran Dixon, he's just signed for Oldham, I think. And he has absolutely knocked 7 bells out of that Joseph, whatever his name was, for Rochdale, Cooper Franklin. Just as he's caught the kick, 5-and-5 kick, like Lewis.
It's not what you need, is it?
As soon as he catches it, he gets smashed. So yeah, fair play to Kieran Dixon for being the shot of the week this week. Now, Eyecatchers then, what's your Eyecatcher?
So,
Mr. Jukes?
my Eyecatcher is over in the NRL. Jacob Kiraz.
Oh yes, I know what this is.
Matt Burton puts up a ridiculous bomb. Like, I think planes fly underneath and it goes that high. But you don't get that much distance on it. Ball bounces and one of the wingers, I can't remember which winger it was for the Bulldogs, jumps, knocks the ball back and the ball goes out to Reid Mahoney. Reid puts a kick across to the right hand side, very flat, very Harry Smith-esque for the Marshall try.
Yeah.
But it's looking like a certain try for Brisbane, who have, I think it's Cobbo, he's playing on that wing, comes flying out just to catch it and then just go 80 metres and score. Jacob Kiraz, out of nowhere, sprints, jumps, catches the ball one-handed. It is phenomenal. He then puts his winger in to score in the corner as the fullback's coming across. This is one of the best takes I think I've ever seen, because he pinches it out of the wing, out of the Brisbane winger's pocket.
It, doesn't it? It's a pickpocket move.
Yeah, and almost like an interception try. The way that it just demoralises the team.
Yeah.
Brisbane should have caught that ball and gone left the field.
Yeah, they should have done, really.
They should have been back in that game, but instead they're now 6 points down. It's a real kicker. Matty, what's your eye catch? What's caught your eye this week?
Mine's the play of Josh Rourke, who is a centre. I think he plays a bit of fullback as well for London Broncos. I'm sure we'll talk a bit more about London Broncos later. They're in games a lot more. And one of the products of this is Josh Rourke's play, and he missed the start of this season with an injury, and since he's come back in, he's scored in 4 matches in a row. Now that's good for anybody in any team. Four tries in 4 matches, 4 tries in a row is good for any team. But when you're the team sitting bottom and you're not scoring many tries, that's especially good for Josh Rourke to have scored those tries. So fair play to him. Hope he carries on his strong form.
He's doing well, and like you said, the 4 in 4 at London. He's not doing it at a free scoring team. He's not at Warrington doing this. He's at a team that are struggling to get 3-4 tries a game.
Yeah.
He's phenomenal.
He's scoring every week, so fair play to him. Yeah, good stuff for Josh Rourke there.
Right, we'll come back and we're going to talk a little bit about the rest of the Super League. Thank you. So we're going to go around the grounds now, Matty, and have a look at the rest of the Super League. Some big games, really. Huddersfield played Leeds to start off with. Really big game for Huddersfield. I think that's possibly knocked them out of top 6 contention.
Yeah, if they weren't already, yeah, it does.
It's left them 8 points behind Saints, who are in 6th. But it's also left them with Leeds and Lee in between.
Yeah.
So
and this was against a rival team of Leeds that are just ahead of them. So yeah, I think put a line through Huddersfield if you hadn't already.
I think that just leaves it to a 8 into 6.
8
really.
teams now left fighting.
Yeah. Leeds win this 34 points to 6.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's 2 interim coaches.
I know. Well,
at the moment.
Leeds scored at crucial moments every time. But the moment that everyone wants to talk about here, well, 2 moments actually that everyone wants to talk about. Number 1 was kind of like a funny moment, and number 2 was a pretty serious moment. So number 1, the funny moment, was Jake Connor dropping a routine high ball, and then instead of falling on it or knocking it dead, deciding to block his own teammate Adam Clune, who was trying to help, and let somebody score for Leeds. I can't even remember who scored in the end, but someone scored for Leeds because Connor was too busy tackling Adam Clune. And then the serious moment was involving Sam Lissoni and Ollie Russell.
Yeah.
And this was Sam Lissoni, not long after that try actually, charging into the tackle with his bumpers up, kind of elbow first, exactly what Tyler Dupree did actually on Good Friday, where he puts his elbow into the chest of an opponent, and then once the opponent falls, he raises his elbow so it looks really bad on slow motion. And Tyler was given a yellow card because the player stayed down, and no ban. And at the time, we said, yeah, probably right that. Saints fans were very, very disappointed, saying that he should have been given 10 years in prison with 0 parole. But
No. It wasn't 10. It was 15.
15 years, no chance of parole. But he got a sin bin and no ban because I
thought that was sufficient.
he led with his forearm into somebody's chest. Now Lissoni does it. Russell doesn't stay down. He tries to get up and tackle him. Leeds go down the other end and score. Now, they should still do better.
They shouldn't score from
Huddersfield should still stop him. There's a missed tackle in the or 2. There's a missed tackle or 2 or 3 in the try that they end up scoring. But the incident gets put on report, and a lot of people then start thinking that Lissoni should have been sent off. And if Ollie Russell had stayed down, Lissoni would have been sent off. And
He might have got a yellow, first of all.
he might have got a yellow. Yeah, he might have got a yellow if he'd stayed down.
A lot at the top that it should have been a red.
Tony Smith and John Wilkin were saying, especially Wilkin were saying, like, Ollie Russell's now got a duty to his teammates to actually stay down and play acts.
Which is wrong. But I get what he's saying.
I get what he's saying as well. I don't think we should be encouraging our players to do that. And Russell came out with an excellent statement saying he's always played his hardest, he's never faked an injury, and he's not going to start doing now, even if it hurts his team. I get that. His view is he should have tackled him. I completely get that, and I think fair play, Ollie Russell, he's done the right thing.
But I get what John Wilkin's saying.
Yeah, I can understand.
There's that many people.
I don't think he said it right, but I get what. Yeah.
There's that many people now staying down, getting things reviewed. Gets reviewed, someone goes to the bin, and it actually ends up as a positive as your team, yeah, you might have to go for 10 minutes for a HIA that you check, that you pass. That is what it is. But by trying to get up, you're not right in the line, it creates a quick play of the ball, and your team's under pressure. And if everyone was doing it, you can sort of bite the bullet, but if you're the only team not doing it, and I'm not saying Huddersfield aren't doing it, just Ollie Russell in this case.
Ollie Russell decided not. Well, I don't know if it's a decision. It probably isn't a decision, is it? He probably just
reacted,
and his whole
instinct.
life, his reaction has been get up and try and tackle the next, make the next tackle, affect the next passage of play.
So, I can't be angry at him.
No.
And no one can be.
No.
But it brings a point in. Obviously, Samuel Sonny hasn't picked up a ban.
No.
And for me, I thought it was a one-game ban. The same way I thought Dupree would have been one if he hadn't got the yellow. I think the yellow was sufficient. If they're not giving it a yellow on the field, I'm okay with that. If they then review it and go,
you can't go back 3 tackles and give them a yellow card.
No,
you can't do that.
Which was what a lot of the cry was for. Were for that the ref should be able to go back and review it. At that point, we end up with a game like Rugby Union, where the video ref is just re-reffing the game, and we can go 4 or 5 minutes into a play. That sounds like an extreme version for anyone who watches Rugby Union. That is a bit extreme.
Well, it happened in the Rugby World Cup final. Someone did a foul. They carried on playing, passed all the way to the right side. I think they had a set. The ball might have changed hands and carry on. And then all of a sudden the ref stops and the video ref tells them actually 5 minutes ago there's a foul, so send somebody off, and we all have to go back to that position now to put 5 minutes back on the clock. It's ridiculous.
The one, to be honest, it is ridiculous. The one thing I will say that I do like, now that we've got video refs at all the games,
The yellow turning into a red.
the yellow,
That makes sense.
or no matter what, the ref gives a yellow and the video ref makes.
If the ref gives a yellow card and he errs on the side of giving a yellow card, and then it can get upgraded to a red while he's sitting on the bench, I don't mind that too much. But it's not all made. The decision's not all made there instantly. Yeah. Next game.
Well, I just wanted to mention one thing for Huddersfield. This game's 6-6. Ash Hanley scores in the first couple of minutes, then Aidan McGowan scores after about 10.
Yeah.
It goes into a bit of an arm wrestle. Harry Newman scores with 5 minutes left on the clock.
I think that was the Connor one where he messed up.
To then score Matt Frawley 2 minutes later, and suddenly going in from 6-6 to actually be losing 18 points to 6 is really, really poor. And if you look at Huddersfield here, Ash Hanley scored and then Brodie Scroff scored 4 minutes later. They've conceded back-to-back tries at really bad times.
And those are the tries I was mentioning, the Connor thing and the Sony thing, were those back-to-back tries.
You can't make back-to-back mistakes like that. They're
Kill
close
them.
killers.
You kill them. And it'll kill Luke Robinson, that.
Do you think everything falls on Ian Watson then, or I know he's gone?
I don't know. It's really difficult to say.
I've seen signs of improvements with Leeds. Have you seen any with Huddersfield?
No, not really.
I've not. And
Well,
that's
it'll
worrying.
be interesting because we're playing them next. So I'll be interested. It's our 3rd time playing Huddersfield this year.
Yeah.
And we beat them quite easily the last 2 times.
Yeah. Hull KR beat London 40 points to 16.
Yeah.
What is it? Danny Richardson started in the house.
Yeah.
He was a surprise pick-up for me. I was surprised that they went for him.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I was
if
a
they
bit
can find and
surprised.
use him, obviously Thingy May is out injured at the moment.
Has he got that Ben Reynolds, and then maybe they just thought that Richardson was available and he's better than Reynolds, so let's just pull the trigger in. Maybe, I don't know.
But a good win that puts Hull KR second. I was looking at Hull KR. I do think they've got a tough couple of months. They've got some big teams to play. They've got to play Leigh, Wigan, Saints and Catalan.
Yeah.
All the way from home. And Warrington, sorry. So out of the last 7...
5 tough away games.
5 tough away games.
Yeah.
Leigh might be fighting there to get in the top 6 still. Last game of the season.
Leigh is a tough beat any time of the season, but especially now Leigh is a tough beat. Now they've got all them players back, especially at Sports Village.
So it's a really tough couple of months for Hull KR building up into the playoffs.
Yes.
And I think they've got to be big wins here. In the next few months, they've got to get some wins quick. just to take the pressure off the back end. If they lose a couple here, it puts a lot of pressure on Hull KR.
If they finish second, they're favourites to get to the grand final. If they finish third, they're not.
Yeah.
Because their home advantage is so crucial, as we've said before. Whereas a team like Warrington, I just don't think it matters.
No, that's what I mean. They've got 7 games left. Who did they have in Magic? Sorry. I tried to give you.
Well, it not the. It goes off your position, doesn't it, from last year?
Yeah.
So it will be whoever finished second. Is that Catalan?
I'm trying to think what weekend it is. What weekend is Magic? It's a while off anyway.
Yeah.
But the point is the home games are looking at like Castleford and Salford.
It's that Catalan game.
Catalan at Magic.
Yeah. Because it's
Warrington
second
away.
place fourth from
Yeah.
last year. Catalan was second.
So the 2 home games, Castleford and Salford, they probably should beat home or away.
Yeah.
They're not going to get any home advantage from that. They should win them games anyway. Last season's 4 of the last season's top 6. It's going to be really tough away from home. London, good performance from London.
Yeah, London are in games more often, aren't they?
They're starting to stay in it. I hope they can pick up a couple more wins.
Yeah, they had that chance against Leeds a couple of weeks ago where it went to. Did you go to Golden Point or did they get the drop goal before Golden Point? Either way, they lost by a point.
No, it was Golden Point, yeah.
Yeah, so they had that chance a couple of weeks ago where they probably should have seen that game out. They had the chance early in the season against Hull where they probably should have seen the game out. They had a great chance against Salford.
Well, the next 7 games, they've got Huddersfield and they've got Hull FC.
So they're going to be targeting
They've
2
got
wins.
a couple of games there that they could win. That'd be really, really good. Right. Big result on Friday as well. Lee St Helens. Lee winning 46 points to 4. Now, obviously we had Alex on last week who, as a Saints fan, predicted Lee to win.
Yes.
He really wasn't confident.
Well, I can understand why. They haven't been playing great. They lost back-to-back games against Wigan and Warrington, where they played pretty poorly in both of them, despite the fans getting very excited about
Losing to Wigan
and being really pleased with losing to Wigan. Weird behaviour. But then they never turned up for this game.
No, they were poor from
They
start
never
to finish.
turned up. Lee just
Jack Wellesby went off injured in the 4th minute, was it?
Yeah,
5th minute?
Wellesby went off, certainly in the first half. The try they scored was a bit of magic from Robertson. A bit of magic in 80 minutes was all they could manage. Lee cut them open time and again. And the worrying thing here is they scored lots of different types of tries.
Yeah.
They cut them open, they scored from deep, they scored off kicks, they scored off offloads.
There was the Tom Amon try, straight
Tom Amon, just right down the front door. That's something that we never conceded in all the tries we conceded against Warrington.
It never felt like
They just never knocked the front door down. Whereas Tom Amon, well, he wanted to knock the front door down, but there was no front door.
Yeah,
Look at Tom Amon, he just scored. It was like no one was even trying to stop him. And that's when they had 12 men, Saints, to be fair, but it wasn't a wide player that was in the sin bin, it was Percival. Now, Percival's been given a 1-match ban, which is fair enough. He ran out of the line and hit Moylan on suspicion. Shoulder charge,
It wasn't an aggressive shoulder charge, but it was shoulder.
He didn't wrap his arms at all. He just come out and hit the man without the ball. I think we've certainly got to discourage that, and we've got to make a deterrent there. So that's fair. I think Lomax could get himself unfortunate to be given a grade E. It was a bad tackle. It probably deserved a red if we're thinking about Byrne and.
I'm amazed. I think that's why he's got a grade E, because he didn't even get a red.
The thing is, Byrne got a red card and he got 4 games. Cervelio got a red card and got 2 games. And they were pretty similar. So I don't really know at the moment. Are we being lenient? Is that a more lenient thing? Since Good Friday we've got more lenient, maybe. But then Lomax, which I don't think it was as bad as Cervelio's.
But I think it was worse than Burns.
Do you reckon? They're all quite similar, aren't they?
The thing I don't like about this is he has time to wind him up.
Well, so did Byrne. And so did Cervelio.
But he doesn't drop high.
No.
He doesn't make any real attempt to get low. He sort of just stood upright. And with the Byrne one, Percival loses a touch of height.
reckless,
Yeah,
lazy.
Savelio, there is a bit of loss of height.
That's why I think he might have got a grade A, because even though Parzy's trying to grab him,
He's still full height.
he's still full height,
Yeah, he
looking
is,
for
yeah.
a pass. And then the pass he's made,
He hits him direct to the head.
again, not a lot of shoulder wrap.
No.
Arm wrap, sorry.
No.
So I think this is a naughty one. I think he'll be in quite a bit of trouble.
Yeah, well, it'll go to the tribunal, which will be later on this week, so it'll be interesting to see what happens with that.
Yeah. Right. What a partnership that's forming on the right hand side now. Kept Zach Hardacre out of the side.
Yeah, Hanley into the centre and Darnell McIntosh to the wing, which solves their goal kicking problem at the same time. Your brother texted saying Darnell McIntosh has scored 7.
Yeah.
And we were getting really excited, and then he just said, actually, he's only scored 7 goals.
Yeah, that really didn't annoy me. But Hardacre potentially, obviously, he's moving on to Hull, so I should say.
Yeah, he's moving on.
So I can actually now see a little bit of a plan.
Well, this could be next year's three-quarter line, I think.
I don't know about Latelli. There's a rumour Latelli's moving on.
Yeah, there is a rumour.
But it solves the right-hand side. You would expect Moylan to stay at full-back.
Well, what's the situation with O'Brien with his head knock? Is he in the squad? Because they've got a Thursday game as well, haven't they? So just have a quick look at the.
I'm not sure.
Squad, because
I don't think he'll be back. I'm sure he failed his HIA.
Yeah, he did.
So I think Hardacre will go to full-back, and Moylan will go into the halves.
Yeah,
I think the long term, or maybe McNamara. Sorry, Ben McNamara might play in the halves. Is he fit? I don't know.
He's not named in the squad.
So I'm guessing he's not fit. So I would expect Moylan to go into the halves, Hardacre at full-back.
Yeah, I would expect the same.
Although in this game, they did actually then put McIntosh to full-back.
Yeah, it's different in game though, isn't it, when you've not got Hardacre to...
If the plan for next season is to have Umila Hanley at centre...
Well, the plan for next year is to have Armstrong at full-back.
Yeah.
So McIntosh...
is going to play on the wing.
You would imagine either McIntosh is going to play on the wing or they're going to sign a centre and have Hanley on the wing then. So and McIntosh is just back up.
I don't think that's the case. I think McIntosh will be the main guy.
Yeah, you reckon?
Because they need a goalkeeper as well.
Yeah, true.
So I think it'll be looking at Hanley at centre with McIntosh. So I'd be looking to keep that partnership the same on that right hand side.
Yeah, I would as well.
And
put Hardacre at the back.
Hardacre at the back. Maybe his hands aren't as good as what they used to be.
Well,
but
he's only for a week, isn't it?
But for a week, maybe 2.
Because
obviously O'Brien might not be fit.
Well, no, because
the Tuesday game.
If he's failed the HIA, which it seems that he has, that was on Friday.
Yeah.
It's 11 days.
Mandatory stand down. So he won't make the Tuesday, will he?
So I don't know. That's the 11th day. So he wouldn't make the Tuesday. So that's interesting. So we'll probably see whatever they line up with on Thursday.
Identical on the...
You'd imagine they'd be identical on Tuesday, barring no more injuries. Yeah. But yeah, good win for Lee.
Really big win.
Cracking win for Lee. At front of the home stadium as well.
Do you think they'll make the top 6?
It's tough because Leeds won again and Salford won again. So it's really difficult because they're picking up big wins, but so are the teams around them.
They've got to play the teams around them now still.
Yeah, it's a long way though. Even if you beat them too, it's still what 4 or 5 points you've got to catch up.
Good couple of weeks though. Hopefully beat
Cass.
Cass.
Yeah, they have a few good weeks. Then they might do.
They've got Cass Thursday, Hull FC, Wigan, and then Hull FC. So you never know though, do you?
Yeah, you never know.
Right, next game was over on the Saturday. Sorry, Salford Castleford. Salford winning 30 points to 22.
Yeah.
Sylvester Namo picked up a yellow card at 18 points to 16, and in that 10 minutes...
Deserved it too.
Yeah.
He clobbered Partington, who didn't have the ball.
But in that 10 minutes, they got 2 tries. Ollie Partington scored and Chris Hankinson scored.
Yeah.
To take the games to 30 points to 16. Lewis Johnson scored with 5 minutes left, but they still needed 2 more tries.
Good try, that.
Also, Liam Horn got a yellow card in the first half.
That was who hit Partington.
On suspicion.
Liam Horn hit on suspicion, didn't he?
Yeah.
Partington, yeah, that's fair enough.
And Brealey scored. So in that time, they were down to 12, they conceded 18 points.
3 tries, yeah. I think it's going to be 18 if it's against Sneed.
And that's a killer, that. Because Salford didn't go down to 12 men at any point.
No.
And
Hankinson loves a game sealer try, doesn't
Yeah,
He loves
just
a
take
try.
it out of reach.
he? And try to clinch it, take it out to reach or the winning try or something. He loves an important try.
But I think Salford needed that.
Yeah.
They needed that win after 3 poor weeks of performances. To get back on winning ways is a big response for them. The last one, Catalans, Hull FC, and the return of Sam
Tompkins.
He's sure in this game what he's going to do.
He scored a try, and it was so typically Sam.
Yeah.
It was so typically
Left foot
come out the
step.
back, hit that big left foot step, put a fend on somebody and reach out for the line. It was so Sam.
You know what? I'm going to reminisce here, but you know when Sam reaches for that ball, how long are his arms?
I was always worried someone was going to sit on it and break his arm. You know, like 2010.
Like Kay Custard.
Yeah, like Cade Cust, exactly like Cade Cust.
But
his arms were just...
His arms were never...
They were never ending, yeah.
I think he's shorty and then his arm would just stick up and plant the ball down and you'd be like...
Extendable arms. He also got a smack in the face. Licky Sow.
Yes.
Red carded for smacking him in the face. Just for no reason.
There was 2 red cards
He
in this
didn't
game.
lose height at all, he just smacked him in the face for no reason. And Tariq Sims, what did he get red carded for? Smacking somebody in the face?
Smacking someone in the face as they were on the floor.
Yeah.
And then picking them up.
Yeah. So he smacked somebody in the face, which probably would have been a yellow, because it was
low in
mitigation.
force.
It was low in force, so it was mitigation. But then he decided to pick the guy up, so...
Really give the ref no choice.
The ref gave him a red card. And, Licky Sow just hit someone in the face with 0 mitigation, so yeah, you're off as well.
Something I want to mention about this game. Simon Griggs, Hull FC interim head coach.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago he came out with some strange comments about players staying down and diving, and which he thought was a bit weird as a head coach. Come out with some more weird ones, talking about Sam, that he'd come back and he showed why he was such a good player and all this stuff, and he had a great performance with the whistle.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing to come out with.
It is.
Isn't it?
He's clearly not got the lingo of a Super League head coach yet, has he?
Yeah, he's not gone through the PR training.
No.
And I just think it just gives you a look of making excuses. And it's not a great look to have.
Sam always does that though. We know Sam does that. But he's not the only one.
No, there's an awful lot of players that do it.
Players try that, you know.
Right. We're going to come back, take a quick break, and
Some news.
got some more rugby league to talk about.
Okay, it's time to do this week's rugby league news, and Lewis isn't here, and without him, I'm going to do it, but I'm not going to do his creative titles for them all. I'm just going to say what's happening.
Oh, you could
No,
you could have a go.
No. Sam Burgess has signed an extension with Warrington Wolves to the end of the 2026 season.
So that's 2 more years.
Yeah, but
He's already signed on for next year.
he's already signed up for next year. Just extended by 1 year, but also I think that'll put to an end some of the rumours
Yeah.
that were swirling about the NRL coming calling for him.
The thing with Burgess is, can you see him going anywhere else other than the Rabbitohs?
Oh yeah, I can.
You reckon?
Yeah, because I think he's well thought of, even outside the Rabbitohs.
I think he loves that club too much.
Yeah, he does.
It's not often you see a player go into coaching that quick after retiring. I think he's had that much love there. And Bennett's there now for 2-3 years.
Yeah,
They're
maybe.
not going to bring Bennett in for a year. So.
Well, he's going to be at Warrington probably for another 2.5 years himself. They also have announced the signing of John Bateman. He's arrived this morning. He has signed a contract until the end of the 2024 season, with a strong rumour and that it will go beyond. Really weird. With some salary cap juggling. I'm surprised they've not just announced he's signed a 2.5 year or 18 month or 3.5 year contract, whatever.
Really weird.
He's announced till the end of the season, and then we'll see what happens. But everyone's expecting it to be longer.
Well, have you seen a lot of the thing with the Wests over this? So, from what I understand, there's a lot of talk about whether Bateman's unhappy with senior players being treated like youngsters and youngsters being treated like the superstars. And And then I heard a lot of talk about Benji not liking people who questioned him or questioned things, and that's part of the reason why Robbie Farron moved on as an assistant coach, which is very strange from a head coach. You wouldn't ever just imagine disagreeing with someone and moving them on.
No.
But the West Tigers have said Bateman will be back in 2025.
Yeah, that's the unusual spanner in the works here.
So, Bateman's... How old's John Bateman? 30, 31?
Yeah, probably.
He's actually got another 2 years with the Tigers.
Look, he still plays for me in England shirt.
Yeah. But what I'm trying to get is he's still signed for the West Tigers for 2025, 2026. It's not like his contract's done at the end of this year and he's leaving and they just we'll save some money on him. From the board is that he will be back next year. So what are you going to do? Send him to go to Warrington for 6 months? He's not going to come back any better. It's not like he's not playing. He's not a young lad who's not getting game time, but they see him as a star in 2 or 3 years.
I don't know what.
This is really weird from their behalf. It's a great pick-up by Warrington.
Yeah, fair play to Warrington.
Who obviously, Lockie Fitzgibbon.
They moved on Bullock, haven't they? Fitzgibbon's injured, so... Yeah, get Bateman in. If you can afford him, get Bateman in for 6 months. He increases your likelihood of winning the title.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, he does.
Makes any team better. And he has more depth.
Yeah. Rest of it's a lot of it's sad news, really. 3 players are out for the season. Brad O'Neill for Wigan Warriors, looking like a 9-month layoff for his ACL.
It's his second
ACL
injury. He had one in the academy.
Injury, so that'll be knee construction and 9 months. Tom Johnston for Catalan Dragons, broken leg. He's going to be signing for Wakefield next year, so whether or not he can hit the ground running with them.
It's a nasty leg break as well, wasn't it? It wasn't just a simple one.
I don't think he'll be ready for pre-season for them. And Conrad Hurrell, which is his neck. All right, Conrad Hurrell. His season is over as well. So those 3 players, unfortunately for them and their teams, have had their season ended. I think all 3 are important players, but you'd say O'Neill, just because he plays in the middle of the park, is probably the biggest loss out of those 3.
Wingers and centres will probably be easier.
Easy to replace, yeah. Easier to replace. Not necessarily like Johnson and Hurrell are excellent players, but
for Catalan, like someone like Yaha,
you could
Lookham and Nora Cavalli on the wing.
It's a step down, but it's not as big as a step down when you go closer into the middle of the park. Luke Gale. Yeah, Gale has announced his retirement from rugby league at the end of the 2024 season. Interesting this, that he's not going to presumably have a crack in Super League with Wakefield next year. I thought he would have done. You know, it seems like a foregone conclusion that they're going up at the end of this year, but Luke Gale is retiring. He said it's the right time to go. His body's telling him it's the right time to finish. He's going to transition to coaching immediately with Wakefield in their academy setup.
Listen, that might be the perfect way to go out.
Win the league,
get a team promoted back up to Super League.
He'll be a legend if he does. Well, he will do that one. Let's not beat around the bush. He's going to do that.
So he's going to go up 1 full season there, got him promoted, got into the coaching setup.
Yeah,
be involved around that side.
And that's how he was initially signed, wasn't it?
He was a player coach.
Yeah, he was a bit of a player coach. I don't remember anybody else who will be remembered so fondly at Castleford and Wakefield. Modern times.
No.
He would be a legend really at both clubs because he did a lot of good work for Cast Tigers. And
hit that drop goal.
Yeah, hit that drop goal, but also you can't forget he was excellent all that year.
Yeah, he was phenomenal.
Did some important things for LFC as well.
Played for England at the end of that season, didn't he?
Yes,
17.
he did.
Alongside Kev Brown.
Yes, he did. In the World Cup final. Okay, next piece of news is that Sheffield Eagles have suspended their head coach Mark Aston.
A physio as well, aren't they?
And a physio pending an RFL review. Now you've been
putting that no fault step down, hasn't he?
Yeah. So it basically means he's suspended following a review.
Yeah.
We quite liked a lot of what he's been doing, and it's unfortunate. You know, he is as a club, Sheffield Eagles, leading point scorer, leading try scorer, leading appearance maker, and head coach. And so you could say he's the heart and soul of Sheffield Eagles as a club. He was there in 1998 when They won the Challenge Cup. His son is starting halfback. We don't really know what he's done wrong or alleged to have done wrong. All we know is that it's a medical issue, so we don't really want to speculate on exactly what has happened. It could be no real big deal, and then he could be back in the job in a few weeks if it's not too much of a big deal, or it could be something really serious, and we could be seeing a change for the Sheffield club. But they've been going well this season, so it will probably derail them.
Yeah,
which is unfortunate.
So it's a funny situation.
It's a very weird
You
situation.
don't do things like that without it being something serious.
No. Next thing, the second to last, is Reece Martin is going to leave Leeds Rhinos at the end of the season. Big news.
Leeds really wanted to keep him as well.
Leeds did really want to keep him, and they have released a statement themselves saying Reece Martin is going to be moving on at the end of the season. He has rejected terms to sign an extension, and he's going to be moving on. I've heard Lee are interested, I've heard Catalan are interested, but I've heard the leading the race currently is Hull KR. Hull KR are leading the race for Reece Martin. Solves their goal kicking issues. He's a good player, he's a handy player to have.
Two decent second rowers, that Tanganoa and Reece Martin.
For sure.
They seem to be spending, if that's true,
They're spending the cash, aren't they?
they're spending the cash.
Well,
and they brought in some big names with the overseas. Obviously, Hiku, Jared Warrior, Hargreaves.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Minchella's not.
Opachik is.
Opachik is. And then obviously bringing Tom Davis in next year as well.
Yeah.
Is going to be a good piece
Good
of
signing
business.
for them. Good signing. Now, interestingly, talk about quota spots. Reece Martin is actually eligible for British citizenship, having lived in the UK for 5 years or longer. And it seems now that Super League are going to allow players who have been in Super League for 5 years or longer to apply for British citizenship and no longer count against the quota. So that would be, for us, Bevan French and Willie Isa, that could potentially not count on our quota of 7 overseas players next season. Somebody like Lachlan Lamb already does not count on it. So, looking at the positives there, it means your team can then bring in another player from the NRL.
Doesn't bring anything in on the cap.
No, the cap would stay the same, really, I think. It would just be a quota, reshuffle of the quota rules. And the final piece of news is that Wigan Warriors women scooped up the Nines trophy this week with an excellent win. Actually, quite an easy win in the end in the final. And so congratulations to them and to Dennis Betts and his squad. I was reading this week that they've probably passed York and Leeds into becoming the second biggest team in the league, which is excellent because they're a very young side.
I was going to say, just a reminder that obviously Wigan have took a very different approach in the professionalisation of the women's game.
Not throwing the cash around.
They haven't just gone and... A couple of teams have made 10 to 12 players professional and signed professional contracts.
Yeah.
We haven't done that.
Not yet.
We've implemented a women's first team reserves, women's academy.
Yeah. And in many ways, that's what is helping us. And they did a piece before the St Helens game about how Wigan's fullback had left to go to St Helens for the money, and the new fullback, I think they were both 18. And it's a very young league, but it's a very young squad, Wigan's squad, and for them to get this silverware, I think it'll mean a lot to Dennis Betts, and it'll mean a lot to certainly some of those long-serving Wigan ladies and some of the newer ones as well, to get that first taste of silverware and leave you wanting more. And if like that article was saying, we are the biggest challenge to St Helens winning the title this year and getting the treble, let's go and do it.
I was going to say, I think we talked about this early on, that it might take 4, 5, 6 years to overcome the immediate short-term actions that other clubs have done, signing these players professionally, and took the long-term approach. I actually think it's showing might be quicker than that.
Yeah, and just like the men's game, it's being dominated by Lancashire clubs again. Leeds, Cass, York, they were always the big names in women's rugby. Now it seems like it's St Helens. We're going to coming up there. So yeah, good for the Wigan Warriors women's team.
Yeah.
But that's it for the news. That's all I've got.
I think that's everything.
Yeah, let's reconvene next week and talk about some more rugby league news. We'll be back very shortly to talk about the NRL.
So, thank you for coming back, and we're going to do a little bit of a chat about the NRL. Obviously now Origin's gone. All the teams are getting the players back. Obviously a few players still suspended from the Origin kerfuffle the other week. And we're going to start seeing a bit of pressure build as teams try and push up the table and try and make the top 8, try and get that top 4, top 2 even to get the home semi-final. So I think it might just be worth mentioning that the top 2 are pretty far out, Melbourne and Penrith. Melbourne are sat on 36 points, Penrith on 32. 3 to 6, that's the Roosters, Cronulla, the Bulldogs and North Queensland, they're on 28 or 26 points apiece. So it's really close in that middle 4. And then just outside of that, you've got Manly and the Dolphins on 25 and 24. But the Raiders, St George are on 24 as well, in 9th and 10th. And the Knights are still in touching distance with the Warriors, Brisbane, even Gold Coast and Sydney, all the way down to 20 points. Are still potentially in a fight for the top. So really, there's only 2 teams that are definitely out of it.
Yeah.
Them teams down in 13th, 14th and 15th are only 2 wins away. And some of them will have the bye, who, again, lost. So let's dive into these games. First up was the Warriors versus the West Tigers, and as anyone knows, you cannot back the West Tigers. 28 points to 16, the Warriors won. Keeps the top 8 hopes alive, but in reality, this is just a poor West Tigers team.
You know, the good thing that comes from this is another sellout for Mount Smart Stadium.
Yeah.
And they have announced that they have officially sold out every single game this season. They've now done all the rest to the end of the season, so there is not a ticket yet to be had. I went to Mount Smart 5 years ago, and tickets were very easy to get, and there were not many people in the section I was in. It's a big ground. This is not like selling out, a 4,000 seater, 5,000 seater stadium. There's a lot of seats. There's a lot of seats to sell. The stand opposite me, which was the main stand, was full, but the stand I was in was not very full. So fair play to them for selling out every single week, every single home game. It just means that
Just to add to that, it's 25,000 seater, so it's like filling the DW
every
and a bit
single
more.
week.
Rugby league in New Zealand is booming at the moment.
It is.
And I'm glad that it stuck around, even though they've had a poorish season. Melbourne beat Parramatta, 32 points to 14 at Parramatta. Cam Munster made his long-awaited return, should I say. Came off the bench after 30 minutes. That's a big in for them.
Parramatta are really not very good.
No. They're awfully dependent on Guthorpe and Mitch Moses. And obviously Moses didn't play this game after backing up from Origin. So they're struggling. And they need a change of coach. Jason Riles has already shook some things up apparently. But wait to see what effect that has on them. Melbourne keep winning. Still don't think they're favourites. I still think Penrith would be favourites.
Yeah, probably, but then they're good. Two good teams then.
Over to Brisbane. Playing the Bulldogs. It was really close at half-time this game. 16 points to 10. They've got Adam Reynolds back. Ezra Mam, Reece Walsh. Basically got the full, almost 1 to 17. Payne Haas and Pat Carrigan both played, backed up from Origin. They didn't play 80 minutes like they normally do. And they lost 41 points to 16.
Yeah, wow. Not something I saw coming. I thought the Bulldogs might win, but not 41-16.
So poor.
The Bulldogs have improved so much this year.
Yeah, I think they've still got a long way to go. They're sat 5th. They probably won a couple of games that they think they got lucky in. There's some that they definitely should have won and they've blown. I still think they've got mistakes in them. But I can see them only being a side getting better.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Crichton has just been an unbelievable signing for what he's done around the culture there and everything. And again, you look at, we just mentioned Parramatta. They let Reid Mahoney go, who was club captain, wasn't he?
He was a co-captain.
Co-captain. They let him go. Didn't really replace him. They had Joey Lussick already. And Joey Lussick has never been an 80-minute player that we all know of. Not replaced him. He's gone to the Bulldogs now and has been a real improvement there.
Yeah, he's played well.
Cam Serraldo. Everyone's questioned whether he was ready to take on a job like that, but he's proving himself right in taking that move. North Queensland beat the Sharks 30 points to 22. Now, you want to talk about a side who have imploded. Sharkies. Last 8 games, they've won 2 of them. They beat Brisbane and the West Tigers. Well, anyway, I think any team could beat the West Tigers at the moment, so I'm not really including that, but they've lost to Penrith, Para, the Dolphins, the Bulldogs, the Titans. So they've lost to a wide variety of teams. It's not like they've gone through a really tough run here and been beat by the top 3. And that's probably made them... Before this, I think they were guaranteed 3rd.
No, not anymore.
They're now probably not guaranteed top 4. And looking at the run-ins, I don't think they're guaranteed top 4 at all.
I don't think they're going to finish in the top 4.
No. Origins really hurt them. Not in terms of the players. I think the form that some of the players have come back.
Cowboys had more players than Origin.
I still think it's hurt.
Yeah, fair enough.
The Sharks more. The form, when you look at like Nico Hines, before Origin, you could argue is the best player in the comp. Come back, had a poor game. Looks a shell of a player.
Yeah.
And they've really got to sort that quick. The Roosters beat Manly 34 points to 30.
Yeah, good game this.
Quite a few players backed up in this. Spencer Leniu, Lindsay Collins backed up, Angus Crichton backed up.
Yeah, it was... I mean, it was 10 days after Origin, wasn't it, this one? So, you know, I think you'd expect players to play at this point.
But DCE played. I think already it's the first time in like best part of 12 weeks that Turbo, DCE and Jake have all played the same game.
Fair enough.
So that's going to be a big...
Well, that's the 3 big players, isn't it?
And Manly just instantly look like a competitive side when them 3 play.
Good game this though.
Really good game. I fancy Manly to finish in the top 8.
Yeah.
If they stay fit, I think they can beat anyone.
Yeah, I think Manly will finish top 8. I think so. I think so.
The Roosters, do you think they're the real deal?
I do. I do like the Roosters at the moment. I'm not sure they can quite crack that top 2. And that'll be a worry because they're a side that's really set up to build now and to win now, and they're not really set up.
You've got to look at who they're losing.
Oh, they're losing a lot at the end of this year. So really, they've got to crack that top 2 now, or they won't for a long time. But I think they could.
I worry about the record against the top teams. They've lost to Melbourne. They've lost to the Cowboys, to the Cronulla. Lost to Melbourne twice. Lost to Penrith in the one game they played them. So they've not lost that many games, but they've lost them all to the top 3.
Yeah.
And that'll be a worry that they can't do it when it matters. St George lose to Penrith 46 points to 10. Nathan Cleary back at his best.
Yeah, he was. He really was. He running the show, really.
He's such a good player.
How many tries did he score? 3?
3
tries, loads of goals.
Yeah, 3 tries.
But they just look so formidable now he's back. I mean, they look pretty good without him. But they look so formidable now he's back. They've still got a bye left. Are they going to finish top?
They're 4 points behind Melbourne.
Yeah, Melbourne have got a bye left as well. Yeah, I think probably Melbourne are going to finish top.
I don't think they're bothered about that top or second, really. I don't think
as long as they get in the top 2.
Yeah. But they do have to play each other, which will be a big thing.
Yeah.
But apart from that, both of their run-ins look quite good. I really do like what they've done with Nathan. Though, I've got to say this, they could have brought him back 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Those talks, he could have been fit for Origin 3. They didn't push it. They took the time. and give him an extra couple of weeks because it's a reoccurrence of an injury. He's not particularly injury free. He's always had injuries, shoulder injuries. He's always got a heavily strapped shoulder, and I think they're just buying the time here and waiting for the right time to bring him back. And they brought him back last week when all the Origin stars were missing. I was surprised, but he bossed that game and he bossed this one, and I think everyone's now just going, "Oh, they're back on it." They're back on it.
Yeah, they do seem back on it, don't they?
Gold Coast beat the Dolphins 21 points to 14. 14-0 down after 20 minutes. 2 tries, one from Jesse Bromwich and Tavita Pangat Jr., who is off to the Rabbitohs, isn't he? Or rumoured so, to be following Wayne Bennett.
Yeah. Someone else's as well, I can't remember who.
Yeah. But they scored just before half-time. Make it 14-6 at half-time. Managed to get in front in the 70th minute, and Kieran Foran kicks a drop goal to make it 21 points to 14. Feels like he's been around an awful long time, but he said, was it last week, that he's going to keep going until his body gives up.
Yeah, well, fair enough.
He loves the game, he wants to keep playing.
He's still playing at a decent level, isn't he?
And he's doing an important job guiding a relatively young, new Gold Coast side around. The Raiders, your team, Matty, back on it. Beat the Rabbitohs 32 points to 12.
Yeah.
Disappointment. Johnston seems to have snapped his Achilles.
Yeah.
A non-contact, went to push off literally just to take a steady drive in, and no one around him, collapses to the floor. And
they're always the worst.
They're always the worst. But if you follow the NRL physio on Twitter, he's definitely worth following. Tells you about injuries and different things like that. There's a clip on there and it shows you him look around thinking he's been kicked in the back of the leg because he felt the pain. And actually, there's no one there. And at that point, you just know. So that's a big loss for them. Still missing Latrell.
Well, Alex is he's trying to chase down Ken Irvine as well for the most tries.
I thought he'd break it this year.
Yeah.
He needs 7.
I know. Heartbreaking, isn't it? You only need 7. He probably would have done that in the rest of this year. Or he would have been really close.
But he'll be around next year.
Yeah,
he'll definitely beat it.
This isn't the end for him. He'll definitely catch Ken at some point.
But it's just a real shame. But Canberra were impressive.
Yeah, they've they lost 4 in a row. And that included some really ugly defeats, particularly the losses to West and North Queensland. And they've won back-to-back games. And actually, the remaining games, the next 3 are against teams that are around them: Bulldogs, Sea Eagles and Cowboys. They win those 3, all of a sudden you're thinking...
They win them 3, they're in the top 6.
They're in the top 6, yeah, because those 3 teams are currently just ahead of them. So we'll see. They've got a lot to do. They've left themselves a lot to do, the Raiders, but you never know.
No.
Ricky's got them playing quite tough at the moment.
And they play simplistic rugby, but it's not...
They do keep it very simple.
And I really like that.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's it. We'll come back and we'll do some predictions.
So before we do the predictions, just a quick one about how we would line up the team. We don't usually do this, but how we would line up the team for Thursday's game against Huddersfield. We've now got the squad, and I guess that's why we don't normally do it, because normally we record on a Monday and the squad isn't out until...
tomorrow.
Yeah. So it's a Thursday game, so the squad's out early and we're recording on Tuesday.
Should just add to this. This is assuming that everyone's fit.
Yeah, assuming that everyone who's been picked in the squad is ready to go. So we've made a few changes. We've started off by swapping out Brad O'Neill for Cruz Lehman, which makes sense, that one. We've gone for a similar pack for the rest of the way, but we have gone with Nsemba having a week off in the hopes that he then comes back stronger for the Tuesday match against Lee.
I think our belief is that is a lot of these players won't play
all 3 games.
Yeah. Harry Smith will.
Yeah, probably.
I suspect Jake Wardle will.
3/4 probably all will.
Yeah. Maybe one of them gets a rest. I wouldn't be surprised if Field doesn't play all 3.
Yeah, maybe not. So what we've got is we've got Field at fullback, presuming he's fit, of course. We've got Field at fullback, then we've got Abbas Miski, Adam Kieran, Jake Wardle, Liam Marshall as your 3-quarter line. So 1 to 5 is as you would expect. We've stuck with Jack Farrimond in standoff and Harry Smith at scrum half. In the front row we've got Luke Thompson, Cruz Leeming, Liam Byrne, and in the back row Sam Walters, Liam Farrell, and Cade Ellis. And then on the bench we've gone with Ethan Havard, who we were so impressed with last week, Tyler Dupree, Sam Esse, who we've recalled, and we're assuming if we've recalled him, he's going to play one of these games at least, and Zach Eckersley.
It's one of them. It might not be this one.
It might not be, but
it might be him or Harvey Hill or Mago.
Yeah.
I suspect Mago will get a rest. But
and we've gone with Zach Eckersley for that 4th bench spot in the thinking that we can then spell Cruz Leeming with Farrimond or Kieran going into 9.
Yeah.
And then Eckersley can cover whatever. So you've then got cover 1 to 7 and 9 if you need it.
I think we'll see a lot, especially now with Leeming the only 9. Obviously, there's I forgot his name in the academy, Tom Ratchford.
Yes.
And Taylor Kerr, who have both been mentioned to play at 9.
Yeah, Kerr's more of a 13.
Yeah. With Forber out until at least Magic, I suspect one of Farrimond or Eckersley. Not or Eckersley, sorry. Farrimond or Kieran will spell in at 9 to give Leeming that break. I don't particularly think he's an 80-minute player. Especially with the injuries he's had, they won't want to put
he's
too many minutes in
his first game back as well.
So not having Leeming on the bench gives us the option to carry
an
Eckersley,
or
a Ryan Hampshire, or a Farrimond.
Yeah.
An outside back in that case.
Yeah.
On the bench.
We'll see what Pete does, but that's how we would do it probably. So predictions then?
Yeah. Do you want to start off, or would you like me to go? You normally lead. I always feel a bit bad for you.
I can go first.
Confident, I like it.
We'll just get Lewis's at some point during the week.
Yeah.
You can text them to us.
Obviously going to leave the Wigan game for now. Castleford Lee, Thursday night. There's 2 games on Thursday, including ours.
Yeah, I've got Lee to win this one and to get a back-to-back wins. Maybe to start that ascent up the table.
Just thought something. Wasn't it a draw the last time they played each other?
Yeah, they have certainly drawn this.
That was at Lee. Yeah. Sorry, I was just checking where it was at, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you, Matty. I'm going Lee. I think Lee are in far better form. Cass are playing really well, but I do think at some point they're going to have fatigue and tire. So they do a week off. Next one on the Friday. There's only one game on the Friday. Surprise.
That's unusual for Super League.
The top 2 go ahead. So, opportunity for Wigan to go back into the top 2.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Warrington, Hull KR. Warrington have beat Hull KR twice in Hull KR.
Yes.
I'm just going to check what round it was. I think it was really early on in the season that they won.
It was, very early on the season.
It was round 4.
Round 4, yeah.
And then
that makes sense.
Beat them at Warrington in round 11.
So this is a loop fixture.
And at Warrington.
And at Warrington, okay, that's made the decision for me. I'm going to go for Warrington.
I win Warrington as well. Really good game, that though.
I'm looking forward to that one. Yeah.
I think I've got to prove a point here that they can go away from home.
Yeah, they need a big win away from home. I've said that for a while.
Hull FC and Saints. Saturday, 3 o'clock kickoff. Can you see Saints going 6 in a row?
No, I can't, actually. I can't. As much as I think it would be really interesting and, funny, but really interesting and would throw the league and the top 6 race into just pandemonium, I can't see it happening. I think St Helens are going to win this one. Close, but I think Saints are going to win.
Salford.
Who do you think is going to win?
Oh, Saints.
Saints, okay.
I can't back anyone with Hull FC. Can't. Now, this could really... We talk about all the teams around that middle part playing each other.
Salford play Leeds. Salford sitting 5th on 24 points. Leeds sitting 7th on 20 points. Leeds get a win here. Takes Lords to 22. So this is going to be... I'm going to say this is arguably my game of the round.
Yeah, maybe. I think Warrington Hull Care is going to be a good game, but yeah, like I said
before, top 2 game for a team playing 5th v 6th or whatever.
Yeah,
It's actually
7th, is it this year?
I'm going to go for Leeds.
I liked a lot what I saw from Leeds last game against Huddersfield. I'm going to go for Leeds. I think Salford, they've run out of a little bit of steam. They just need a bit of a reset, and I think Leeds are going to win this one. I'm not too confident. I think it's going to be close. It's going to be a good game.
I'm going Salford.
Yeah.
I think...
Yeah, good. It's boring.
Winning last week against Cass in a tough game.
Yeah.
Get some time off now. Obviously, they played... was that Sunday they played?
Saturday.
It was Saturday they played, so they get a full week off. I think Salford in a close one.
Yeah.
Over to Sunday. Catalans make the trip to London.
Yeah. Catalans for me. Catalans are winning this game. I'd love Sam to do well, but yeah, Catalans will win this game.
Could London upset them?
They could. You never say never, but I don't think they will.
I don't either. It'd be interesting to see how Catalans play this, I think. Obviously, they're still sat in 4th. By the end of the week, they're the last game, so they'll know how the rest of the table looks.
Yeah.
They'll know whether it's going to become closer to points difference. Because Saints are sat in 6th, 2 points behind them, but far superior points difference.
They need to pull away from Saints and Salford and Leeds and the others to cement in the top 4.
But also, this is a game where you think you've got maybe a couple of injuries, a couple struggling. Is this a game that you risk Samming? Bear in mind, he's only just come back.
Yeah, you need to get him some rhythm.
It's an interesting one. Can I push you towards London at all?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Well, I'm not going London either. I'm going Catalans. Right. Wigan Huddersfield.
Oh yes, we're back to the beginning now.
This is on Thursday.
Thursday match.
Yeah.
Look, I think we're going to bounce back. I'm not sure anyone's going to be surprised with that, but I think we're going to bounce back. I don't think it's going to be easy.
No, I don't.
By any means, I think there's still a lot of scarring going on from the last couple of games, and I think we really need this.
But I think it's Huddersfield at the right time.
We really need it. We really need this.
And a little bit of me thinks that if we can get off to a good start, Huddersfield may just realise that it's their season over.
Yeah, there'll be
this is last chance saloon.
There'll be some sighs of relief around the DW Stadium. Sorry, the Brick Community Stadium. How dare I say the DW? There'll be some sighs of relief around the Brick Community Stadium. Should we get off to a 10-0, 12-0 start? Yeah, I think so.
And I just think that'll hurt London. Hurt Huddersfield, sorry.
Yeah.
Just in terms of it's basically season done at that point. They have to win to keep their season going. They're running out of games and they can't afford to lose any. Right, I think that wraps up predictions.
Yes.
Thank you for listening, guys. Matty, thank you for coming on.
No problem.
And we'll see you on Monday.
Yes, and Wednesday.
And Wednesday next week.
Yeah.
Double episode. Thank you for listening and see you next week.
See ya.